Hello and welcome to another episode of CS Stories. So, in this week, we are talking about our German research icebreaker Polarstern. And you have probably heard that this vessel has its 40th birthday uh, in the past weeks. So, it's a very old vessel. Usually, typical container vessels or so, they only get 20-25 years old. But Polarstern is really a well-proven old research vessel, and because it's old, we are currently in the process of renewing the vessel, building a new one, but that is still some years in the future. So for now, we are really celebrating what we have on our Polarstern. And Polarstern was built as part of a German political decision where Germany said that actually we want to join the Antarctic Treaty, and for that, we needed three things. We needed a research station, and that research station needed to be resupplied, so we needed a research vessel. And then, of course, we also needed a research institute who does all the research down in Antarctica. And in the late 70s, in the beginning of 80s, Germany really thought, okay, we should be part of the Antarctic Treaty and have the proper status there. So invested heavily into Antarctic research. And this is how Polarstern came together. And of course, we have learned a lot over the last 40 years from this vessel, and it has constantly been improved and well maintained, and it's in an incredibly good shape for a vessel nowadays. So it really still is, I would say, the best science icebreaker in the world, particularly because it's one of the few ships which is whole year round only doing science. It has no other tasks. It's basically just going from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back to the Arctic, only stopping for a short shipyard time in Germany in between on the way. So it does a lot of research days in the field, and it's a very capable boat. So what is so special about Polarstern is, well, first of all, it's an icebreaker. Its capability to break 1.5 meters of ice at a speed of 3 knots. That's consistent ice breaking, but actually, well, I have been on it, and we have been breaking ice much thicker than that, probably up to 10 meters just by ramming, going back and forth. So it's a very powerful vessel which has reached the North Pole several times. It was actually one of the two first commercial, or not commercial, conventional vessels in the world that reached the North Pole in 1991. That was together Polarstern and the Swedish icebreaker Odin. They teamed up to be the first conventionally driven icebreakers at the North Pole. Before that, only nuclear driven ships had managed that. So you can see what a strong ship Polarstern is. And probably internationally, it's also well known for its recent drift expedition, the Mosaic Drift Expedition, where we froze Polarstern for almost an entire year into the Arctic, and it drifted across to allow for the first time really good science in the winter in the Central Arctic on an ice floe. So it's a very versatile ship. You have equipment for atmospheric scientists, you have equipment for marine scientists, you have all the tools to do big geological coring with sediment coring devices. You can tow nets, you can do fisheries research. It has a lot of hydroacoustic systems to map the ocean floor. You can deploy robots over the side. Uh, it's really a very versatile ship. And one of the things that I really like, particularly on Polarstern, is that it is a ship where you feel that it's built so that you can live long time on it, because it's always going on these long 2 month expeditions. People really need to feel home. So you have a small gym, you have a nice sauna, you have a little pool, you have a nice bar, and generally really nice common areas. And that's a thing that is lacking of quite some research vessels, these nice common areas. So even though the design is very old, it's still an extremely capable ship nowadays. And I've spent plenty of time on this ship, starting in 2011 when, as a little master student, I had my first expedition, and in 2011 we also reached the North Pole with that expedition. So that was the start of my career on Polarstern, and since then I've been on multiple other expeditions. And it's a really nice vessel and a very capable crew to do research in the polar regions. So overall, we're really happy that this tool has survived already 40 years of doing great polar science, and we hope that it still survives a few years until we can come up with its follow-up vessel, which is currently running under the name Polarstern 2. But for now, happy birthday, Polarstern, and I hope you find it interesting to also follow the vessel. And I try to give you to give you more updates here on my channel. With that, I want to thank you a lot for watching and have a nice day.